On to the details now. The remains of the late Komla Dumo, affectionately called the boss player, has been laid in state at the Holy Spirit Cathedral in Accra. The body was taken to the family house at Hachu for a special prayer service before being taken to the Holy Spirit Cathedral. Our reporter Emmanuel was at the family house and has come through with this report.
The remains arrived at the family house at 6:15 Friday morning, February 21, in a hearse from the Lashibi Funeral Home in Accra. Escorted by pallbearers from the funeral home and heavy security, the hearse carrying the body of Komla Dumo slowly and in a solemn atmosphere marched into the house. After a brief private prayer session for the remains and the family, the journey to the Holy Spirit Cathedral began, escorted by a motorcade made up of the national security, the military and the Ghana Police Service to give it a national recognition. The body was taken through Hachu, Legon Westlands, through the Gimpa Road, then to Jowulu, where people stretched from their cars to catch a glimpse of at least the hearse carrying the corpse. The motorcade also passed through Mamubi, Kanda Highway, through Asylum down to the church premises. The body was slowly moved from the hearse solemnly to the church auditorium. The casket was opened to the general public from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Friday, February 21 at the church premises. It will be taken to the State House for the burial service Saturday, February 22.
Well, Metropolitan Archbishop of Accra, Most Reverend Charles Palmer Bako, has admonished Africa's youth to emulate the life and work ethics of former BBC Figures in Africa host Komla Dumo, delivering a sermon at a requiem mass in honor of Komla Dumo at the Holy Spirit Cathedral in Accra. Bishop Palmer Bako said the late Komla was an inspiration and a role model to many young people in Africa.
They came in their numbers, young, old, the media, politicians and family members, to bid farewell to a man many describe as an epitome of excellence in journalism. The shock of his death was still telling on several faces, and many, especially his wife, could not hold back her tears when she saw her husband laid in state. There was the Bible reading, intercessory prayer for the family, an Eucharistic celebration, and the public viewing of the body. In a sermon, the Metropolitan Archbishop of Accra, Most Reverend Charles Palmer Bako, admonished African youth to emulate the life and work ethics of Komla Dumo.
Komla was surely an icon for the youth, a model in his commitment to excellence. I am told that he was made the chief of the Youth for Development in the Aflao traditional area because of this. Let me exhort you, my young people, to walk in the footsteps of Komla.
He said, although Komla's sudden demise at a prime age of 41 was painful, he lived a fulfilled life.
Africa needs you, our young people, to be committed to this continent. Africa needs you, my dear young people. Africa needs many more young ones to fill in the shoes that Komla has left and to lift up the flag of Africa still higher. You can do it.
A liturgical service will also be held on Saturday, February 22 at the forecourt of the State House. A Thanksgiving service will be held on Sunday, February 23 at the Holy Spirit Cathedral to bring the 3-day funeral service to a close.
Always in a rush, never stay on the phone long enough. Why am I so self-important?
Still with Komla, the funeral ceremony was characterized by heavy security both at the family house and also the church premises. According to the public relations officer of the Greater Accra Regional Command, this is to regulate the movement and ensure maximum security during the funeral ceremony of the boss player. He outlined security details for the next 2 days.
The security provided right from the funeral home to the family house through to the church premises made it look like a state ceremony.
Actually, the police have that responsibility when in terms of crowd control, in terms of traffic management. But we've been getting support from the Ghana Armed Forces, specifically the military police. They also assist us in one way or the other. So, but we know we have a bigger responsibility because we are in a democratic dispensation. So we are the frontline security. We have the chunk here, but we have, as I indicated, a few personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces here to assist us as expected.
National security?
Surely, they are part of the scheme of things. The stature of the late Commune tells a lot. And the number of people, even individuals, when they're having funeral and they expect a large crowd, we have to assist. Wherever there are human beings, because our job is to protect life and property, so we have to be here at all costs. But let me be very honest with you, it's a state-assisted program, but it's not a state barrier because the format is quite different from a state barrier.
He also gave the details of security arrangements for Commune's funeral ceremony.
And it's the same crowd control, it's the same providing general security for everybody. We cannot go into detail because this is a funeral. This is a funeral is supposed to be a place that we respect the dead. We are paying our final respect to a loved person who has passed on to the other world. So we don't expect anything untoward to happen. But at the end of the day, we need to put in the needed security measures in place so that in case something untoward is rearing its ugly head, we can be able to control it. But aside of that, people are using vehicles, there's a traffic flow here, so we have to ensure that our interest here is traffic flow. Our interest here is to create an environment that things can move on smoothly. Then beside that, there are personalities who are here who needed protections.
Those with accreditation are encouraged to carry them along to avoid being embarrassed.
Always in a rush, never stay on the phone long enough. Why am I so self-important?
Well, it is most suspected that a ceremony to celebrate the life of former BBC and multimedia broadcaster Commune would attract some high-powered dignitaries, various government officials, celebrities, both the media, locally and internationally, were present at the ceremony to bid Commune farewell.
Dignitaries present at the funeral ceremony of the late Commune included former and present ministers of state, ambassadors, former President Rawlings, Commune's colleagues at the BBC, and representatives of the local media fraternity. Many described the death of Commune as a great shock, but noted he led a life worthy of emulation.
It's incredible and very difficult to really imagine that Commune has gone, because he was such a lively and such an important personality in our lives. But I think being here and realising that all this ceremony, as the reality is hitting us, yes, it's very sad. I think Commune was a new and a different face of Africa, someone who reported Africa truthfully, but also saw all the wonderful and positive sides of Africa.
Well, you know, it's a feeling of, a lot of sadness, of course, but also the fact that, he's so well appreciated. We had a service like this for him in London. It was well attended in London. Here in Ghana, back home, a lot of people here to pay their respects to somebody who was a great man, a great guy, So it is sad, but I'm happy that he's appreciated.
Other dignitaries also indicated that the journalistic work ethics and dedication of Commune must be replicated by all to help excel in their respective careers.
And we came to know him as a man who was very, very dedicated to his profession, who was very eager to improve upon himself on a daily basis, who wanted to be the best in his field. And I think that is something that sometimes not all Ghanaians appreciate. And I hope that his unfortunate demise will give the youth of this country in particular the courage to be the best they can be in their respective fields.
He exemplified a lot of qualities. He did his research well. He had command over the language, and he was courageous and fearless. And he held government accountable to the people of Ghana. And so for me, he proved to be one of the best brains on the media landscape.
Others also admitted Komla would forever remain a shining star in Africa.
The way he took his work seriously, paying attention to detail, not being a sycophant for some politicians, but being able to speak his mind based on the facts as he knew them. I think we've lost somebody.
Always in a rush, never stay on the phone long enough. Why am I so self-important?
Well, at a news briefing Friday, Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ernest Daite, announced the suspension of the tolling policy with immediate effect. Now, this follows a directive from government and a promise to pay an amount of $2.3 million that the university had contracted for infrastructure project. He, however, cautioned that if government failed to redeem its promise of paying for the cost of constructing the road, it will be, quote, disastrous. The university's decision to toll motorists generated a lot of public outcry and condemnation. The university had explained the tolls will help it pay for a loan that it contracted for infrastructure project in the school. Let's deal with water issues now. The plan to shut down the Commune water transmission plant next Monday is on hold as engineers try to fully restore the Wager transmission line. Water Resources, Works and Housing Minister Collins Dauda says engineers working on the Wager plant have given a tomorrow, Saturday, 22nd February deadline to fix the plant. Etanam Say has the rest of the story.
The minister, together with officials from the Ghana Water Company, first toured the Commune Water Works, where engineers are working on the expansion project. The expansion project is to increase the production of water to meet the increasing demand in the eastern part of Accra and Tema. The intended Monday shutdown will enable the waterworks increase the amount of water produced daily from the 40 million gallons per day to 52.3 million gallons.
As part of looking forward, we try to identify equipment which are getting old. We take actions to replace them before they break down. So this is a rehabilitation project to decommission that pipe underground so that we have a new one that will be more reliable.
The eastern part of Accra and Tema need a total amount of 150 million gallons a day, but the Ghana Water Company is unable to produce that much. This is the new pipes that are going to be connected to the old pipes during the shutdown to produce additional 12.3 million gallons of water daily.
We know that during the shutdown period will create a lot of inconvenience to our consumers, particularly those who are served from this plant, that is the eastern part of Accra and Tema. We will plead with them. Nothing goes well without a sacrifice. If you have to do a good road, you will destroy the existing one and come up with a better one.
The Public Utility Regulatory Commission Thursday issued a release ordering the Ghana Water Company not to shut down the Commune plant in the face of the acute water shortage. Collins Dauda described the order as needless.
We cannot shut down, we cannot have a problem at Wager, as a result of which we shut down Wager and close our eyes to shut down Commune. We won't do that. And therefore, for me, that, whether it's an order or advice or whatever, for me, it's a needless something.
I guess that we get a lot more water flowing through our taps. But residents of Dansuma and Otojo are pleading with authorities to immediately pull down a building allegedly being constructed on the road network, or they will be forced to take the laws into their own hands. Chief of the community, Ni Tego, tasked the Member of Parliament for the area, Esla Owusu Ekufo, to see to a speedy resolution of the matter when the MP paid a courtesy call on him during a tour of some projects in the constituency.
This building is being constructed by an unknown developer. According to residents, the land, which was initially a road, was sold to the developer by land guards, and work on the land was speeding up even though officials had been served with a notice to stop work.
Stop work, road, stop work. They had it, I had it here, no. Now I had it here. Now I had it here, I'm a board, I cry, but personally, by Janet, no, now boom, no, now me, fit plastic. Can you find no, I'm a bomb near to my game. Ni no logo. Kaba and Bahu and Yanaka, Mukobata, Jemma here, and Baba and Bab Benny Shafe, Nikaho. Another threatening, she moved for Madame.
According to residents, they have had to deal with the issue of flooding since several of their houses are now in low-lying areas, and they fear the alleged construction of the building on the road network will aggravate the situation whenever it rains. Member of Parliament for the area, Esla Owusu Ekufo, is equally not happy about the situation and said the developer would soon be taken to court.
I've engaged the services of a lawyer to actually start the processes for the developer to be restrained formally from continuing with this construction, which in our opinion is illegal because it's sited in a roadway, that this structure is wrongly sited, so it shouldn't be there. And then to get an order to demolish the property at the developer's cost.
Residents of the constituency also used the opportunity to tell the MPs some challenges they were encountering.
Hey, your problem. The beer in Suwa, in Suwa Hasa, in Soto, in Sontoyo, in Su. But I say I have 2 pipe moon. Better say 4 days. You must say so beer near. I just say pipe be from her a leaky. Because of that, in Tiomo ye a hen money now will be a so say or Babay said you my way. I would do be a Jinahua. Now we jai because some more ye hey. Naki in him some obey. Just a short distance, okay, but almost Jatu.
A resident of Tunga Down, one of the many suburbs of Dansuman, Commander retired Agrifin said he has been unable to move his car out of his house for the past 2 weeks due to an abandoned construction project right in front of his house.
You're still watching the Primetime Bulletin here on Joy News on Multi TV and also on ABN TV, remembering or celebrating the life of Komla Dumo. Please stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. Many thanks for staying. You're welcome back. 6 vehicles have been burned in an incident at the Swami roundabout in Kumasi after a petrol tanker caught fire. The fire spread to other vehicles behind the tanker, including another tanker carrying diesel. Timely intervention of the fire service prevented the spread of the fire to nearby areas at the roundabout. No casualties were, however, recorded. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin reports.
The fire is said to have started at about 5:30 Friday morning. Information gathered indicates that the tanker was moving on the same road with other vehicles. Another vehicle crashed the tanker, creating a leakage on it. The petrol began draining and shortly resulted in the fire. Timely intervention of the fire service, however, stopped the fire from spreading to nearby areas. It took the firefighters close to 2 hours to bring it under control, but that could not prevent the fire from burning 6 vehicles made up of 2 taxi cabs, 2 Evans and 2 tankers. 5 of the vehicles were completely burnt. The other tanker, which was partially burnt, was loaded with diesel. According to the district commander of the Cat Fire Service Station, the tanker was traveling to the Bonafo region. An eyewitness, the Dubu 4, narrated how the incident happened.
I pay before 6 now. Me come as me do man me say tell me to so. Na tanker ba ku dey nimu. Na flat body and so Zion Ross. The tanker na say tasa na flat body ni fa ho no de bo mu.
and I tank and the pie and then you diesel lugusa and I tank that 1% or move and Atani can also on a gym room.
Two drivers whose cars also got bent in the process gave their account.
We didn't come minimum secretary until the battle tank connection. I can't about the who answer, how to us in the until the who answer, it cannot bomb a tanker. And I have a new car castle and one in the city. See, I am not a na Burkina car waste for them. Full petrol and I'm from Petna. See, do a peer and one who's a cat fire. See, I say, question in the cars will bring away. It's who I say, you need me be a gate. Now, you see, for
D.O. Ajay Fufi is the district commander for the Komfo-Anokye Teaching Hospital Fire Station.
Our first station, Menshia, was dispatched to the fire scene. On arrival at the scene, he saw that the nature of the fire, one tender cannot contain the fire, so he quickly called the FMC to dispatch 2 tenders, making 3 tenders at a time. So 3 tenders were quickly sent to the fire scene, and fortunately for us, they were able to bring the fire under control. What happened was that one tanker got spoiled yesterday, and it was parked around the roundabout, and we got information that another vehicle was passing by when they crashed that tanker, and the fuel in the tanker started coming out from the tanker. So that brought about the whole system, the fire outbreak.
The incident drew a large crowd to the scene. There was no vehicular movement at the roundabout, creating vehicular traffic on the Swami-Tafo stretch.
We still stay in the region. Now the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly has filed an application to join the suit against the Adishimai Garden traders whose stores and shops were demolished in Kumasi. The case is scheduled for hearing on the 26th of February. Kumasi Mayor Kojo Bonsu has also assured the affected traders that the Assembly will use all legal means possible to secure them compensation from the private developer. Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin again with this report.
The Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly says the land in contention has been in the Assembly's custody legitimately for over half a century now. The Assembly, as a result, expressed disapproval of Sunday's demolition exercise on the land, which houses over 200 traders. According to the Assembly, the private developer instituted a court action against the Assembly in 2012, claiming ownership of the land and seeking an order of perpetual injunction to restrain KMA from interfering in matters of the land. The Assembly, however, filed a statement of defense. The plaintiff further filed a motion for an order for interlocutory injunction against the Assembly, but the High Court, presided over by Justice Eric Barr, on the 22nd of June 2012, dismissed the application and ruled that the Assembly had the legitimate right to possess the land. Later in 2013, the private developer filed another suit against the traders who are only tenants of the Assembly and managed to secure an order for interlocutory injunction which aided him to embark on a demolition exercise in the early hours of Sunday, 16 February, destroying over 200 structures. The Assembly says it has a legitimate claim to the land, and available documents at the Lands Commission proves that.
The court can stop its work only in clear and compelling situations. In particular, the court will act against it when it engages in an act that is illegal or breaches provisions of the Constitution. For example, if a person's human or natural rights or rights to property is being infringed or threatened, the court can intervene. I'm a member of RESEC, so in due course, RESEC might also come out with a decision on this. But I'm making this press conference explaining matters and telling people that KLA is the sole owner of that land.
The Ghana Immigration Service has arrested 35 foreign illegal miners at Bole in the northern region. They include 24 nationals of Guinea and 11 nationals of Burkina Faso. Correspondent Rafiq Salam has more.
According to the Upper West Regional Commander of the Ghana Immigration Service, Assistant Controller of Immigrations, Theodore Sodode, the 35 alleged illegal miners, 24 Guineans and 11 Burkinabes, were arrested by immigration officers stationed at Bole in the northern region.
The first batch of 14 was arrested when they were coming down, alighting from their vehicle from Wa to Bole. The officer intercepted them and questioned them and got to know that they were not Ghanaians and they were of the ECOWAS nationality. The others was also arrested when he was in town at a drinking spot and he spotted some of them eating over there. So they made a surveillance and they were able to trace them to where they were hiding, and the rest were also arrested.
When quizzed by the immigration officers upon the arrest, they indicated they were transiting to Ivory Coast, which shares border with the Bole district, but further checks on them revealed otherwise. According to Theodore Sedode, the service has less evidence against the arrested foreign nationals, but plans to send them to the Hamle border to be repatriated to their respective countries.
Galamsey has now been a business, and normally it's not done only by the foreigners alone. The Ghanaian also lure them into the country and also assist them in this sort of this. Our environment is being deteriorated because of this Galamsey. Our water bodies and all those others are being destroyed of this Galamsey. And the president have also led this thing to make sure that this Galamsey or the environment that is being destroyed by this activity of Galamsey are put to an end. That's why we're also trying to support the president's effort to make sure that this sort of Galamsey comes to an end.
The suspects, who initially pretended they could not speak English except Arabic, were exposed when one of them shouted at a banana seller who was passing by to buy some of the banana in English. Their unregistered motorbikes on which they were traveling and metal detectors were seized from them. According to the team, the items would be kept in Wa pending further instructions from the national headquarters of the Ghana Immigration Service. Rafiq Salam's report from Wa.
We're back in the capital. Now, members of the Spoken Word Church are reported to have been living in the bush at Oyibi near Accra for the past 3 years. According to them, they were motivated by the current economic hardships and their biblical doctrines to live in the bush for the rest of their lives. Matilda Wamega visited the area and has come through with this report.
Living here for the past 19 months, members of the Spoken Word Church say life here is heavenly and peaceful. We will be finding out from them what exactly motivated them to move to this area.
Located behind Kaz Estate in Oyibi, it took the news team some hard time locating the area. After a long walk in the bush, we entered a camp through a wooden gate. The camp looked isolated, quiet and deserted. We came across Daniel Neville, leader of the camp, who explained to us their reason for making a home in the bush. Many of the members of his church, he says, were university graduates and professionals who had all quit their jobs and are now into mushroom cultivation.
This is a church that started around 2007. You understand? So we are not just, we've been together for long. When a group of believers together, we've been going to church together for long, and before the idea came that we are about 37. Yeah, about 37 people. Those who have wives are living with their wives here, and those who don't have wives are living on their own. And that we came together for both economic and social and biblical reasons.
Although many of the campers had left to the neighboring community to trade, the leader of the camp says access to water and food was no big deal, with the exception of electricity, which he says will soon be connected.
I think that we are even in a better position to face the economic crisis in Ghana than people who are even in town. Our expenses is down. I'm here, I don't pay electricity bill. I'm here, I don't pay rent. I pay rent, but not as in town, you see. And other activities. I mean, I don't know how. I mean, many of them. You see, our expenses is down. You see, our expenses are down. You see, so we stand in a better position to face the economic situation in Ghana than even people who are in town.
Even though Daniel claims the kids in the camp get education, we wondered how they could provide the children with any proper education in the bush. Haiti Day, 32-year-old graduate from the University of Ghana and the member of the church, teaches children in the camp.
Before I came here, I was teaching.
Okay.
Where? I told you at Ghana Institute of Languages here.
Okay. Teaching.
I have a mushroom tent, and I have about 50 mushrooms.
Good. So how are you coping with things here?
It's normal. Everything is normal. I have a place to sleep. We have water supply, food supply. There's nothing. There's no problem. Thinking about the rent and all. Sometimes in what do you call it? In the city, it's quite, paying rent and all those things.
Do you
it's
prefer
quite
to the city as Sodom?
No pollution, air pollution and noise pollution. I mean, I don't know what to say. Maybe you have to experience it, then you would know yourself. But I would say that I'm more relaxed here.
Other members of the church shared their experience living in the camp. 10-year-old Boy Angrin, the only pupil in class 5, is aspiring to be a mushroom farmer. Interestingly, he has reasons for preferring the camp to the town.
Yeah, it's just a cool area. I feel good.
How does that make you feel good?
Because in the town, if you are in school, you will not do something and then they put it on you that you are the one who did it. And then sometimes you do it like people talk too much in the class and make too much noise.
Wow.
I feel happier than Sodom.
Why?
Members of the spoken word church say addressing several misconceptions about them from family members and friends has been their only challenge. They are hoping to develop the community into a modern one in some years to come.
In a paradise of their own, I suppose. Well, you're still watching the Primetime Bulletin here on Joynews. Abigail Adumako Entry is standing by to bring you the business news. Please stay.
Time now to get you updated with business. I'm Abigail Adumako. Now, some traders in the business of Komla Domos paraphernalia are optimistic of high sales during the funeral service of the late broadcaster. According to them, the passing away of the ace broadcaster will bring people from all walks of life and an opportunity for them to make some money.
On the funeral grounds of the late Komla Dumont at the Holy Spirit Cathedral Church in Accra, several things seem to be happening at the same time. Just as most of the people present were mourning, a few business people had come to make sales at the funeral. They sell badges, rubber fans and other body accessories and have high hope of making good sales during the 3-day funeral service.
I'm saying you are new on I yapa, but you're bad for such a door or more ton back my yeah, and the fun. I'm saying who say a show better amount for and the fun. So there will be people who the idea that you come every badge, I key holders, Nina, or why I started your tongue. And that you come chain to see a 2 city, a BI 2 city.
When I am a pay near break, saying who say or bring Pombia to. I mean, I made my media peer has said, when you say a month for a talk, so be I perceive to be just a colors now, and then to man or more friend so called, into no more tone.
Way idea would tone the Dana say, way a yanty now rushing to business with.
The bachelor there be idea me tone fitting in quala say the dada. Say ye be a bar and can have say a meeting with the bar say beton. Business nigga say and caso be mum, but ye near brain to a year by to me the bar since your motor. No more to
Meanwhile, other mourners observed the funeral service on giant screens mounted outside. Immediately, the church auditorium filled up.
Always in a rush, never stay on the phone long enough. Why am I so self-important?
Malcolm, let's so rest in perfect peace. Away from that, President of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Seth Ejeba, is asking the central bank to ensure they do not collapse businesses by churning out regulations that are not market-friendly. He says although the new Forex regulations will aid in stabilizing the local currency, the Bank of Ghana must find the right approach in its implementation.
It's a position along the line government has to take to stabilize our currency, for which we do not blame the government for that. We think is the right step. What we are looking at is the approach so that it doesn't affect businesses or collapse businesses. Most of our ladies who are in the SMEs, who trade within the continent, going to Togo, Ivory Coast and other places to buy goods, most of them don't do LCs. They just take their money because they go and buy 5 here, 6 here, 10 here, 11 here, put them together and ship them here. We should not do things that will disturb or destroy their businesses because they are a chunk of the private sector in Ghana. If we say we are going to get the money as and when we need it to import, then there's no challenge. If I want to import something, 100,000, and government says, yes, bring your cedis, I give you the money at the government rate, you can transfer. Then what is the challenge? The challenge is that maybe, yes, we can keep dollars, but when we need it, we can't get it. That is where we'll see the real challenge. So let's see how it goes. Let's support government, and if it's not going right, we'll sit down and look at how best we can engage to direct how to go for us to be able to run our businesses.
Unilever Ghana Limited has marked the Golden Jubilee celebration of one of its historical products, Key Soap. Born in 1963, Key Soap has been one of the products that has lifted the banner of the company.
The first ever product to have come out of the then Lever Brothers factory in 1963 is Key Soap. Before then, the product had gained popularity with the Ghanaian consumer from the days when United Africa Company was importing Key Soap from Port Sunlight in the UK.
The brand has over the years consistently demonstrated its leadership in the fabric cleaning bars category with relevant innovations and exciting consumer activations, all designed to meet the needs of its valued consumers.
For almost half a century, the multi-purpose Key Soap has not only struck a bond with its users, but has given comfort to consumers, especially homemakers. The Minister of Trade and Industry, Haruna Idrisu, charged Ghanaians to buy made-in-Ghana goods.
Let me indicate that the recent announcement by the Bank of Ghana on the policy of de-dollarization, arguably, I understand that many of you industrialists have been affected by that directive. But let me assure Unilever and many multinationals that you should have no difficulty settling external obligations with your external partners in foreign currency. This is a matter for which you can seek clarification from the Bank of Ghana. The policy which is not reversible is the policy of de-dollarization of the Ghanaian economy, to which government requires the support of every Ghanaian in stating emphatically that you can do business in Ghana, but do it in our known currency of the cedi as the medium of exchange and not a store of value.
Key Soap has offered freshness wherever it has been used. It has cleaned many clothes, washed many dishes, kept many floors clean and hygienic since the 1950s, and continues to do other chores in many homes and institutions. The company also took the opportunity to outdoor the new brand of the historical product. Justice Forson's report for Joynews, Accra.
Well, Ghana has signed a memorandum of understanding with Rwanda to partner in business and foster trade between both countries. The agreement is also to mutually deepen investments and create employment opportunities.
The signing of the MOU between the Ghana Chamber of Commerce and the Rwanda Private Sector Federation only comes to make formal the business partnership between the two, as some individuals are already in business in both countries. Trade terms between the two countries have not been encouraging in the past, as Ghana in 2010 exported nothing to Rwanda and subsequently exported goods worth $18,000 only in 2012. With the new operations of a national airline, Rwanda Air, to Accra, the Rwandans believe this is the most appropriate time to strengthen economic ties between the two countries.
We want to take advantage of that airline to see with our eyes what is happening here, the opportunities which are there, and what also we can bring in or take in from Rwanda, and not to allow that airline not only to be used for passengers, for tourism, but also for business. We learned that you have a lot of potential in mining sector, construction. Even last night I was watching TV, I saw some challenges that we have in some supplyment, water supplyment, maybe electricity supplyment, and we have gained some skills in that, and we think we can help. Some of our companies are ready to come in and see if they can do something.
He maintains Ghana's good governance and peaceful nature makes it a model for the continent, adding that Ghana's support to Rwanda during the war is much appreciated. For Ghana, the opportunities in both countries cannot be left untapped.
Engagements between African countries in terms of trade has not been encouraging at all. We are all importing from the Far East, West and other places. We think it's time we produce for our own people, we produce what we use, and we use what we produce. We think there are a lot of things we can learn from them in terms of having to import meat from the Western world. Why don't we look at Rwanda, if there's a lot of meat there, and import from there? There are a lot of things today. I saw some of the things they are put on display. We can also export a lot of things there. We'll be very, very competitive.
Meanwhile, the business delegation from Rwanda will be in talks with businesses in the country in the next 2 days to explore available opportunities.
And that'll be all for business. I'm Abigail Adumakwenchi.
Right, we're getting to the world of sports, and Emmanuel would have a chance to put his world boxing dreams back on track when he faces Ryan Barrett of England for the WBU welterweight title on March 15 at Bournemouth International Centre in the United Kingdom. Clottey would need to scale this hurdle to have a chance at the WBA and WBC titles in the weight division. Ghana's Emmanuel Clottey will fight Ryan Barrett of England for the World Boxing Union welterweight title on March 15, 2014 at the Bournemouth International Centre in the United Kingdom. Emmanuel, who is the elder brother of former International Boxing Federation welterweight champion Joshua Clottey, has set his sights on achieving his dream of becoming a world champion. Emmanuel Clottey has an opportunity to relaunch his career with the WBU and go on to win the WBC and WBA titles. The bout arranged by Kingfisher Matchmaker Promotions will see 4 other Ghanaians in action, 3 of them world title bouts. Michael Banner would lead the pack of 4 boxers with an attempt at the super bantamweight title against Jamie Spate, with Ibrahim Labaran taking on Gareth Hogg for the WBU light heavyweight title. Now tributes continue to pour in for ace broadcaster Komla Dumo, who truly had a passion for sports. Deputy Sports Minister Joseph Yamin and cruiserweight Brian Makamoko, popularly known as Bukum Banku, took turns to bid their final farewell to the boss player.
Happy New Year. Rules are simple. 3 goes, highest score is the winner.
Well, he was a nice guy, a gentleman, straight to the point, who wants to put out the issues as it is. With such a person who will want to get deep down to the grassroots of every issue and want to let the public know.
Koblandomo, he make me popular. I love him very well. Yes, for me, I like Koblandomo. God giving the very sleeping well. That time I'm 10 the professional. He follow my everything. He follow my everything. Always he call me, come radio station. Always he call me. He come my house, he talk to me, make me interview every day. But that thing I hear that Cobra Domo is dead. I can't sleep very well because all the time I dey cry. God give him long life to go and fight international fight, to give him money to chop. But he give me name in Ghana.
It's a lovely Sunday afternoon here in Pretoria. The African campaign for the World Cup has pretty much begun. It started yesterday with Nigeria going down against Argentina 1-0. Today it is the opportunity for the Black Stars of Ghana to redeem the hopes of Africa. Okay, guys. All right, so this is what the fans...
Have a good night.
It does make the bulletin lighter. We'll call it a bluff or brag, but hip life artist Tiny says no artist in Ghana can match up to him so far as rap goes. He says for as long as he has been quiet in the music industry, he is yet to resurface.
According to the rapper, ever since he released Anaconda 3 years ago, he has been silent and wondering if there was a better rapper than him. But he has come to realize there is no size. To prove he is the best, Tiny is asking for rappers who think they are better than him to come forward and do battle with him to determine who is the best. Wondering what makes Tiny feel this way? Well, he in his latest single, Commune, has described his fellow rappers as non-entities, and surprisingly, he says a lot of rappers sound like him. But he insists that he is the original and is always on top of his game.
Nobody contest me. Nobody contest me. Nobody contest me. Nobody contest me.
Tiny says he knows his statement is going to get his colleagues take him on, but he's not afraid because he believes he is telling the truth, and they know but cannot stand the truth. The father of four says Ghanaians and his fans should watch out for a concert he's planning in a couple of months.
That claim will obviously put him in the spotlight. But veteran Nollywood star Peter Duche says he's afraid of death because he would like to be prepared to meet his maker when the time comes. As it stands now, he says he has some cleaning up to do.
Peter Duche is popularly known for his no-nonsense strict father role he plays in movies. He, in a recent interview, reveals that he is afraid to die. Explaining why he is afraid to die, Duche said there is nobody alive who likes dying. Even if a man is 100 years, he loses his sight, becomes a vegetable and inconveniences others, he still wouldn't like to go. So he is a normal human being and thinks of death. Merely thinking of death encourages him to avoid excesses. That is how he keeps in shape. But as to why he is not ready to die, he says he has to be prepared to meet his maker when the time comes. And as it stands now, he still has quite a few to clean up. So he wants to be spared and live a good life.
It has been a pleasure coming your way, even as we celebrate the life of Komla Dumo. To end the news, our top stories again. Body of the late Komla Dumo, affectionately called the Boss Player, has been laid in state at the Holy Spirit Cathedral in Accra after a requiem mass was held for him. Following days of water shortage in several parts of Accra, the Ghana Water Company has suspended plans to shut down its own water transmission plant. University of Ghana announces suspension of tolling policy with immediate effect following a government directive and a promise to pay the $2.3 million it's contracted for infrastructural projects. In business, President of the Ghana Chamber of Commerce is asking the central bank to desist from churning out market-unfriendly regulations. It's Gifty Amdo Apia. Many thanks for your time. Do enjoy your evening.